Hey guys, welcome back to MFO. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. I want to talk about the Major League Pro Circuit and something that was talked about prior to this season even getting underway. There were some interviews that Boyd Duckett did about the changes that Major League Fishing made regarding forward-facing sonar. The BPT had a tremendous amount of success going to a 3-hour scope period, meaning scope could only be used during one of their 3 periods each day. And the anglers needed to declare which period they were going to use scope. Well, they decided to use that same kind of format with the Pro Circuit. And they developed that box. We've talked about it on the channel. That's a timer box that allows us to use scope for 3 hours during the day. To my knowledge, there haven't been any issues in terms of using the box. It's been totally cool. But it's interesting what Boyd Duckett said was that forward-facing sonar and using scope is a tool. It's a tool just like throwing a spinnerbait or a technique like flipping a jig and Major League Fishing doesn't want to eliminate the tool, but on the other hand, knowing how, important or how impactful this tool is, they want to limit the use of the tool. So that's why, they're giving it 3 hours. When we come back, I'm going to show you some statistics that are probably going to solidify your opinion about whether you think it's just a tool or not, and whether that argument really holds water. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher. I'm going to show you some statistics right now about the first 2 tournaments on the Pro Circuit. We went to Harris Chain, where we fished all 3 days. And Drew Gill won that. And we went to Santee Cooper, where Aaron Yavorsky won that event. And with Santee Cooper, we got canceled from day 1. And on day 2, we had a shortened day where we only fished a total of 5 hours. So let me put up this graphic to show you this. So for the Harris Chain, we've got 3 hours of scoping with 8 hours for 3 days. And then you see on Santee Cooper, we had a canceled day. We've got 5 hours total fishing with 3 hours of scoping. And then on the last day, 3 hours of scoping, 8 hours of fishing. So here's the information that I want to share with you. And that is that on the Harris Chain, Drew Gill caught 1 bass outside of his scoping period, 1 5-pound bass. And in the Santee Cooper event, Aaron did not catch any bass outside of his scoping, which means in these 2 tournaments, the winners ended up catching enough fish to win in each tournament in basically 3 hours of fishing. Other than that 1 fish that Drew Gill caught outside of his scope period, they used scope and caught enough fish to win using scope and basically didn't have to fish any other hours but their scope periods. While everyone else, if you do the math, what that boils down to is 5,400 hours of total fishing amongst the field. And in 5,400 hours of fishing, those anglers couldn't catch enough fish to beat the 2 guys that really only fish 3 hours a day using scope to be able to win the tournament. So the question then becomes, is this argument of forward-facing sonar is just another tool, just another technique that we need to maintain and that we need to keep, but we need to limit? My argument would be that I don't know that right now, as of now, and admittedly it's 2 tournaments into the season, but I don't know that I would say that, yes, it's a tool. Yes, but I think that the statistics are showing that it is, here are tools, or this forward-facing sonar tool is here compared to other tools that are just miles and miles away in terms of their impact on being able to catch fish. I don't like to, it sounds like I'm coming across sour grapes. It's just, I'm driving home from this tournament, and I'm looking at the highlights, and it's just amazing. I'm curious as to what you guys thought when you watched the event. I didn't see a whole lot on streaming that was anything more than scoping. Even though a majority of the field was doing an awful lot of fishing when they weren't using scope, I think that most of the catching had to do with, using scope. It's it's kind of disheartening to be out there and to be getting crushed by guys that are scoping. It's absolutely disheartening from that level of things. Guys, I'd like to get your opinion on it, and I think our thumbnail here with the size of that screen up there, boy, I tell you, with my eyesight, I could use a screen like that. I've got TVs that are probably not as big as that screen, but curious as to what you think about that one as well. Saw that one this weekend. But guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you again tomorrow. And we've got the updates coming up for both days of the tournament. I will say, a historic event on Santee Cooper. Historic from a standpoint of big fish catch, historic from the fact that longest fog delay I've ever been involved in and that I'm aware of. So lots of things to talk about, and we'll get that all to you this week on Mark Fisher Outdoors. Take care, everybody.